The month of March is one of the highest revenue grossing months for sports books in Pennsylvania.
But as financial participation grows, so does problematic gambling. NBC 10 investigative reporter Claudia Vargas is looking at how the state is trying to balance the social cost with the money it brings in.
Ray Alexander spends a lot of time and money on sports, but not playing them or going to games, but betting on them.
Like to believe that I'm fairly good at it.
He says he's been gambling on games for about 20 years, well before it was legalized in Pennsylvania in 2018.
Using a bookie back in the days when things were a little more illicit, and then went legit once sports gambling was legalized.
Alexander says since its legalization, he's wagered more than $100,000 and wins just under half of the time. He tells us he doesn't have a gambling problem. Pennsylvania was among the first states to legalize sports wagering. Since then, people have spent billions of dollars placing bets on sporting events and player stats.
It's almost too easy, I feel like. It's too accessible.
That's because a lot of it is happening in the palm of our hands. The vast majority of sports bets in PA take place online, according to the PA Gaming Control Board. With the rise in sports gambling, the state is seeing a rise in revenue. Like other states, Pennsylvania taxes each bet. Most of that money goes to the general fund. So far this fiscal year, sports wagering alone has generated more than $147 million in tax revenue, according to the State Gaming Board. That's nearly 5 times the amount from the same time frame in its first complete full year. From then until now, the Gaming Board says that the state has taken in almost $1 billion.
The sports gambling sector is growing fast. And in a few states, it's really starting to produce a pretty remarkable amount of revenue.
Nick Johnson with the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy says states shouldn't expect the growth to continue. And he says they need to consider something else. Gambling can be addictive.
States are still learning about the costs of sports gaming.
Gaming Control Board has always taken the issue of problem gambling seriously.
Doug Harbach is the spokesperson for the Pennsylvania Gaming Control Board.
We have our own Office of Compulsive and Problem Gambling.
He says the state has other safeguards, such as a self-exclusion list. People can voluntarily ban themselves from gambling. Thousands of residents in our area have added themselves to it.
An individual can choose to basically block themselves from accessing sites that we regulate to gamble upon.
Pennsylvania law requires that some money generated by gambling go toward addiction treatment. The Council on Compulsive Gambling of Pennsylvania is one of the nonprofits that receives money. The group reports that helpline calls related to sports betting jumped 16% last year compared to 2024.
As people continue playing and play more and more in an ongoing fashion at a faster rate, a lot of times that can really lead down a path that's not very favorable for them.
Josh Urkel is the council's executive director. He says every state, not just Pennsylvania, is still figuring out how to balance the financial benefits with the social costs.
Anybody who benefits from the losses of other folks, they play a role in having some level of responsibility.
And more regulations could be coming to sports betting in the future. The PA House of Representatives ordered a study on sports betting in hopes to gain a better understanding of the industry and perhaps further regulate it. Now, we reached out to the association that represents the major online gaming companies about being taxed, the rise in people becoming addicted, and more state regulations. We have not yet heard back from them. For the investigators, Claudia Vargas, NBC 10 News.